That song made a lot of sense because it says forever and ever and ever and ever. It's mean infinity.
That's it.
It means it's never stop. Regardless of what I might be going through, I'll never stop loving you. And I don't understand how some of us can have dry eyes when we just got through singing that song and opening our hearts, because when we think about the goodness of the Lord and all that the Lord has done for us, knowing that we live in apartment complexes where there is drugs and crimes, and we're living in areas where bullets are coming through walls. But notice something, it didn't come down our toilet. He kept us beyond our own endurance. Look how many of us is walking. Sunday I was so close, and I had it on my phone, on the camera in my phone, and it was just amazing that me and Pastor Ron just got through talking. He said he wanted to get in one of those cameras, and I was telling Lady Andrew, and she said, "You always." I said, "No." I said, it's because as Uber drivers and those of us that drive Uber, we see a lot of stuff.
Yes, we do.
We see stuff that normal people would never see because we're always constantly moving and in environments and out of environments. And a lot of times I'll be in places or certain areas, and then I see it in the news, I say, oh, that's what that was about today.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're driving up and down the street constantly. But Sunday I took Brother Morris to go to he went to go to a party, a Super Bowl party, and he called me and said, I want you to go with it. I'm like, all right. And some of his church members was having this party, but I got to his house, and I said, let me get the gas here. And I got the gas from everybody's house, and literally, I had just paid the gas, and Sister Tiffany, I was pumping the gas, and I'm just on my phone, not paying attention, you know, just on my phone. And out of nowhere, this is the car, the tank, the gas nozzle is in the tank, and I'm just like right here at the back door just doing it. And I can see the boy walk between me and another car. Wow. And literally took the 9mm out and started popping. Literally in a parking lot full of people, young children. And I'm literally like, you know, I'm from the hood of New Orleans, and you know, in California we heard that all the time. It's like kind of similar test. So when he did it, I didn't. Everybody was ducking, and some people was running back in the store, and several guys ducked all the way down, and I was just standing like, this is what we're doing? This is what we're doing. The blood of Jesus. And that's all I kept saying was the blood of Jesus. I said the blood prevailed, the blood prevailed. And out of nowhere, Morris called me. He said, you okay? Because I'm hearing all this shooting. I said, boy, I'm at the gas station where the boys do this shooting. And I was allowing Brother Morris to review it on the camera. Where we didn't see the boy because my camera was pointing forward. But you see all the people that was in the front of the car running and ducking. And Morris was like, I'm so ready to get away from over here. And he said, this is every day, all day. And when they were singing that song, Forever and Ever, I Love You, you know, today I was out. This morning I walked out the house by 5:15. I literally got pictures in my phone of 4 accidents. I was going down 75, 85, going up 75, 85, and it was a standstill traffic. And because, you know, I know the city, I gets off and come down, come through back roads, and came back up, got on the 20. I got a ping on 166, went on down to 166, got the dude, came up to 20. Here's another accident. Came up, dropped him off, went up 75, 85, and out of nowhere, I was going north. Picked up another ride, going north. And while we driving, a car went his fault. Somebody went in front of him, he hit brakes and lost control of the little compact car, and it just got to spinning. And every day I pray, Lord, let us have safe riders and safe drivers.
All of us, me too.
You know, I say, God, cover us with your blood today. And I you know, I had my little gospel, my service on and whatnot, and Miles Monroe was talking about faith and conversation. Faith and declaration he was talking about. And I told the lady, I said, that's why I play my music. And she had all that beat block in her ear, and she's going in. So when that man hit the dick, that, and we all started hitting bricks and going across the dick, she said, what's going on? I said, baby, you got to pray. We live in a day and time that you got to know the Lord. Yes. And it's second, I said, this was a close call. That if I had lost control or was not a good driver to maintain the control, look what could have happened. It was that close. And it wasn't the person's fault. It was just a truck went between in and out of traffic. But we thank God. So when I heard that song and the kids started singing that song, I said, John, let's come on, let's just hear that for a minute. Forever, I love you forever. Yes. It's infinity. Yes. Do you know when the Bible was written in Greek and Arab or Hebrew? Do you know it was only 6,000 words? Wow. It was only 6,000 words in there. But when it came into the translation of the King James Version, it came out to be over 12,000 something words. Wow. Why? Because the word love has so many meanings. Wow. You got philo, agape, eros, the love between a man and a woman, the love between God and people, the love between a brother and a sister. But we don't understand it. We don't know the different wordings and whatnot. I was reading out of this Bible, and God knows I'm going to throw this Bible away. I really do. I was reading out of this Bible, and I was going through one of the chapters, and I meant to keep it so I could present it at church. Listen, they had like 19, 21, 20, but verse 21 was gone. Wow. And it went to verse 22. Yeah. And I was reading it. And I remember Dr. Miles Monroe said that. He said, I stay with the King James Version because some of the scriptures out of the New Living Translation is no longer there. Right, they combined it. He said, but if you didn't know it was a combining sentence, he said people wouldn't even think that exists anymore. And I'm just showing you something. But as a good leader, it's not, I'm never going to tell you not to get a New Living Translation. I'm not going to say that because it's bringing clarities. Right. I think every minister, if you're a minister or a minister in training, or you're a good a Christian and you love God and you're developing yourself in a role of leadership, you should have commentaries, commentary books, so that you can understand what the chapter means in each chapter. And I'm telling you, you spend millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to go to school and get degrees when you can just get a book and just read. Yeah, that's true. Just read. And many people think that I've been to a lot of places I haven't. I just love certain people that have wisdom and got clean characters. Amen. But let me tell you something. Archbishop Ron Ash, I don't care what nobody said about his death after he died. You know what I tell everybody? They tell me something, I said, y'all wait until he was dying. He did. Y'all wait until he died, so he came to feel himself. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing. But Ron Ash and Dr. Miles Monroe, many others that I listened to, Rob Parsley, the teaching, Paris Stone. I love Dr. Paris Stone. Also, because he break down the tabernacle. And I love the breaking of the tabernacle. Give me the understanding of why the veil was rent and purpose. And just how you just go through this stuff. And just it's free classes. It's free classes. Just go in and read it. Just follow me in the Bible. Follow me in the Bible. If it don't match you, just hold on to it. And if it don't make no sense, and you just pray and seek God. Amen? All right. You pray and seek God. Somebody said we pray and seek God. We pray and seek God. All right. I want to go back to my Friday night lesson, my Friday session that I didn't really get the chance to get to. But I want to get to it on today, and then I want to talk for a few minutes. So since I'm going to spend this, I'm going to stop at 8 o'clock, so I'm just going to go real fast and do what I need to do. Okay, this is what I need y'all to do, though. This is what I need to do. I want everybody to say there's 7 pillars. There's 7 pillars of servant leadership. There is 7 pillars of servant leadership. Huh? Okay? Now y'all, I see y'all watching me, staring at me. Now I don't know where y'all can get this information from. So you might expect y'all get one? I'm recording. There's 7 pillars of servant leadership. Why get your hand poked? You call me too? You gonna get all this information? You gonna get all this information? You just gonna keep it in your head? Yeah, that's right. Forgive me. I apologize. I forgot that I saved my Facebook page on your phone. Somebody just said asked me that long ago. I said I ain't worried about it. What are you gonna do? Ain't nothing in there that come through there that I can't nobody look at. It happened with Facebook's not there, so you might as well not let them come through there. Listen. 7. Everybody say 7 pillars.
7 pillars
Of servant leadership.
of servant leadership.
One of the pillars of your leadership is the community. You got to know how to lead in community. You got to, everybody say, I have to lead.
I have to lead
In my community, not just in my church.
not just in my church.
The next leadership, the next role of leadership is dealing with people. People are customers. People. Then the next one would be team / employees. Right? You got to know how to deal with it. Then you have to, every good leader, every servant that's in the leadership must have strategy. Somebody say strategy.
Strategy.
Then they have to have understand culture. You cannot be effective leader if you don't understand your culture. And then you can't be effective leader if you don't understand the culture of other people. So in other words, to be a good effective leader, I have to know community. Meaning I have to be willing to go out into the community and find out stuff about the community. And while I'm finding out something in the community, I got to make sure that I'm a prime example. I have to look the part. Amen? I have to act the part. Are you hearing me? Especially those of us that are driving Ubers and Lyft, and you always got people in your car. You got to be careful that you're not bouncing and got cuss music on and somebody can discern that you saved. Come on. Come on. I was the Super Bowl just left. Everybody got in my car. You know what they heard? 102.5.
Amen.
102.5. And let me tell you something. And I've learned where it helps me. Most times people get in my car, and regardless of what their attitude might be, once they hear that music playing, and it's not blasting, it's on a mild tone, where it is, they tend to get in and not be so bothersome. You know, they respect the ride. Or think about, okay, this is a Christian, let me not do too much or not say too much. And it protects both of us. Keep me from running that car into a sidewall, or keep me from killing one of them and be some sad women. You know, I'm a little different because when people get around me, they feel like they can try. You know, because they judge the outward appearance. Where some of y'all, they may not judge. So they'll try me. So I want to know why they try me. Think about Jesus while you're trying. Don't think about trying me. Because I got a whole bunch of stuff on the side door that's going to stop you from trying me. You understand? So, and even when I do have my music, sometimes somebody may ask me, bro, can we turn this on right here? And I'll say yes. But it's always going to be at a certain tone that not only that I can be concentrated on the ride, but I can also tend to the spirit that's in the car. You have to be very sensitive in community and your environment. When you come out your house, you just can't come out fussing and cussing because somebody worked on your nerves. Come on. The Bible says in Proverbs, he said, let a fool argue by himself. Because from far off, won't nobody know which one is the fool. But from far off, if you just let the fool argue by himself, it's okay, that's the smart one right there. That's the fool right there. Right? Unless they consider both of you being the fool. Right? So you have to learn as leaders, you have to learn the role. So we have communities, we have communities, we have people, we have team, / employees. You got to have a strategy. You have to know the culture. Right? And when you get a chance to know to understand the culture of your team, it helps you out. It helps you out. So I'm sorry, those was the first 5 things. First 5 things. The 7 things, huh?
6.
No, that was 5.
That was 5, yeah.
6. We're on number 6.
No, that was 5 things I just gave you. / in team and employee. It was a /. It was on the same total, on the same count.
I know.
That was number 3.
Community, people, team / employees. When you're working together as a people, strategy and culture.
That's 5.
That's 5.
You said next was 7.
I said the next thing is going to be 7. Hear me. The first 5 things I gave you, I said 7 pillars of the sermon, but I want to make sure that we got the first 5 things on the top. The next things considered is, the 7th things is persons of character. You got to have persons of character. You have to have a personal character. Know who you are as a your character got to be very pleasable to people. Some people can't deal with you is because of your character. Come on. Some people can't deal with you because your character is funky.
That's right.
And that's how you treat people at home. You can't treat people like that as a leadership in the public. You can't do that. You might snap on mama at home, and mama might let you get away with it, but you can't do that effectively in leadership. The next thing is you got to learn how to put your teammates first.
Okay.
You got to have a good character with people. People have to know your character. You can't have a funky, messed up character. You got to make sure that you put your team first. Now watch this. Putting your team first doesn't mean that you put yourself on the back burner and that you become a doormat. No, put your team first simply means that let me take into consideration with the people that's working with me. I have to take into consideration that they have lives as well as I do. A point blank, there's so many doors people have called me in the last 2 years to go and do certain stuff. Reason why I don't do in these last days of ministry for me, and why I don't do all these just jump in the car and go places, even though I have a car to do it. No, I don't, because I tend the people that would have to go with me have jobs and have lives. So I make a conscious decision not to take a lot of engagements. Right? Because then if I take a lot of engagements, okay, y'all have to preach it, then people gonna start getting burnt out. Just a hand of people, the hand of people get burnt out. Right? So I take into consideration that people are not in the day in which I grew up in. Whether or not I had a child on life support system or not, as long as he wasn't going nowhere and I wasn't there. Because that baby gonna be all right by the time I get back. He was in the hospital or in that home, hospice home. Guess what? He'll be all right by the time I get back. I have to take into consideration putting people first is that everybody don't think like I think. Everybody don't sacrifice like you sacrifice. You will make a sacrifice and somebody else may not make a sacrifice. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Some people will not sacrifice their life for leadership like you make. So you have to take into consideration as a leader that I get it. They're just not there. And then I get it, they don't want to be there. They always, that people are not there. Some people just don't want to get there. And then some people just think that your role in leadership is not effective enough for them to keep pouring into. And you have to be very mindful and always take into consideration of people that if you feel that way about someone, your day will come that you're going to really need the support system of your staff or your team. They will not, you will reap what you sow. And let me help you out with something. Some of us already reaping stuff that we did not sow.
That's true.
So why much more are you going to reap if you sow it?
That's right. That's so true.
So you have, as effective leaders, you have to be very careful in your role of leadership. You got to make sure you have skilled communication. You got to make sure that you have skill. Number 3, one is your character. Right. You have to have a personal character that people can adjust to. You have to, number 2, make sure you put people first. Number 3, you have to have skilled characters. Making sense? Yes. You got to have communication. I'm sorry. Skilled communication. Meaning you got to have consistency in your communication. And sometimes I lack with that, but we have to make sure that this year we perfect our communication. And we have to communicate and communicate even by way of text, messaging, phone call. Make sure we cannot pay attention. You cannot be a skilled communicator and you listen to the church announcements when you feel like listening to them. Because some of y'all got that problem bad because sometimes I didn't hear that. Yeah, you did. You heard it. It was announced. And then y'all called me and said, well, such. Well, what do you mean about this thing? Well, what do he mean about that text? We talked about it in the text. Go back to all your texts. Well, I don't have the text. Then I screenshot the texts back. Oh, I did see that, but I don't remember. Okay, well, who fault is that? So if you have a phone with you every day, the text is coming through and you're receiving it, and I be seeing it say, this one open, this one open it, this one read it, this one read it. Then I get say, I didn't get it, but it says you read it. Then again, you may not have gotten it. Computer error, technology error. But when you do hear the announcements, then you still come and asking that same question again. After I just told them, okay, we need on the phone, talked about it. Why are you asking me? Why are you texting that again? Making sure your skill communication is not just you communicating on a consistency, but you remember the things that you communicate about. Ouch. Sometimes I do fail in remembering some of the things that we have communicated about.
Me too, amen.
And then the next, number 4, is being compassionate. Right. You have to be compassionate with the team you work with. And be compassionate as a leader. and be mindful. Even sometimes the things that we think. Let me say something to y'all. Do you know that a lot of times the enemy will make folks discern what you think about them?
Yeah.
And then what happened is, because that person has a gift of discernment, and you may not be aware that they have a gift of discernment, and then you think something or speak of something in the closed doors, and then it gets spoken outward in the spirit or in bodies, gestures. You know, a policeman knows when a person is lying. Yeah. A policeman will stare in your face and ask you a question, and they can tell. Your pupils start dilating. Your facial, your skin start trembling without you noticing it. Right. Come on. I remember I was talking to your nose opens up, and it flares. Your ears start getting red. So when people looking at you, they can tell. When the pastor from Stronghold, he's a detective. Even when I was sitting down talking one day, and he was telling me, he said, man, when we go through something, we know when people be lying. I said, how? He said, we just look at their whole face. He said, stuff that you would never notice. He said, you watch people start getting spit, the white spit inside their mouth. He said, all of that is sign of lying. When they're in an interrogated place. You watch the tear. You watch the person when you first approach them. They got dry eyes. Then all of a sudden they start getting watery eyes. Why? Because their bodies now have changing chemistry of defense. Thinking. How? Thinking. He said, you look at their hair, those that have hair, their hair will start moving when there's no wind. Wow. I'm like, wow. So when he said it to me, I said, amazing. He said, so that's why a lot of people say, okay, just get out the car. Right? So, and then they watch the pulse beating your neck. Right. They're watching. They even sense, like detectives can really sense, because they can hear your pulse beating without touching you. It's amazing. I'm like, well, that's as another level, remember being compassionate. Right. Then the next level is having a foresight. You got to have to have a foresight. Foresight in what it is you are to lead and how to develop your leaders to work with each other. You have to be a system thinker. Always thinking about how I can fix the system. How can I make the team better? You would lead with morals and authority. You've got to have good morals. People got to be able to respect you to be effective leading. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I want to use this sometimes a man finds a leadership position. Sometimes a man finds a leadership position, and sometimes a leadership position finds him. I saw that quote by Dr. Daryl Cobbins, and I liked it. And I was looking at some things when I was in Jacksonville, and he simply said, sometimes a man can find leadership. And that's amazing, because I saw that you took cameras. You got the cameras, you started taking pictures. That wasn't asked by me for you to do that, but you got the camera. Whose camera was you using? Your camera? And you was taking pictures, and it was some really nice pictures that you took. And sometimes you, as a leadership role, you will find a position and say, okay, let me do this, and let me do that. And you did it without distraction, without nobody rehearsing you. Well, I don't know if you have done it before, but I was like, when I was sitting in the circle, I said, look at her, just walking around here, snapping pictures and doing this, and it wasn't a distractive thing and whatnot. And then sometimes a leadership position finds you. You can find it, meaning I see something needs to be done, let me get it done. And then having initiatives. And then sometimes you just have to be your leader and say, can you do such, 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 or I have a position for you that seems effective for you, and you can operate in that position. Right. So when I thought about it, sometimes a man finds leadership, a leadership position, and sometimes a leadership position finds a man. I want you in 2019 to prepare yourself to be found or to find. You have to be able to be found by leadership or find a leadership position and be effective in that area that you're going to work into, so that the realm of the Spirit of God can flow with sufficiency. and not insufficiency. You cannot be effective in God and you're never available. Somebody help me say that. All right, everybody help me say accountable. Is an adjective. Watch this. To have an account of action capable of being explained, subject to give an account. Accountable person can be assigned to an action, but responsible is the individual that complete the task. There is a difference from accountability. Remember we talked about it, right? And responsibility. Accountability means a person can be assigned to it. Remember what we just said about the quote? Sometimes a leader can find a position, and then sometimes a position had to find the leadership, right? So you always got to remember that you have to, for me to be effective as a leader, I got to be accountable. Accountable in what? In everything that is asked of you as a leader. As a leader, you have to be accountable in every aspect of your life that God, especially as a kingdom leader. Now, can I say this to y'all? Kingdom leaders are different from politics, school teachers, coaches, and whatnot. So we can't really compare leadership role in the kingdom to worldly people. We really can't do it. Because you know why? They mimic our roles. If you look at the political arena, it is built on the principles of the Bible. It is. It's built. That's the reason why it needs laws. Notice something. Laws can be changed. Laws cannot be changed. It can just be overridden by another law being in position. But if you break the law that's been overridden, you're still accountable for the law.
Yes.
Oh, come on here. You're still accountable. At one time, it used to be first-degree murder. So what happened is they said we had to change the first-degree murder and make it second-degree murder. Right. Now, I for a long time didn't know second-degree murder was more greater than the first-degree murder. Right. So because first-degree murder, it was done on at the moment or the spec. In second-degree murder, you thought it out. And it's premeditated. And I did not know that if we get in a fight and I stop and somebody stops us and I walk away and come back, it's no longer self-defense. It is now premeditated. You have now premeditated how you was going to respond to the action that was given to you. And it's more cause or more problem for you.
That's true.
Than it would help you. Why? Laws came in. Then now we have manslaughter laws, and all these laws came out. Whatnot. Today, biblical days, you got caught stealing, your head get cut off. You got crazy looking at the wrong thing, your eye got cut out of your head, and all these different stuff. But then a greater law came, was called the law of grace. He came in to do away with all that law, not that we continue therein. Bible says what? What did the Bible say? Since now that grace abounds, shall we continue thereon in sin? The scriptures say, Paul said, what? No, God forbid. If you dead to a thing, how can you live in the thing that you're dead to? So you got to be accountable. Tell somebody, say you got to be accountable. Look at a neighbor and tell a neighbor, say, I need you to be accountable this year. You got to be responsible this year for the part and the role that you play in building and restoring the kingdom. Accountable person can be assigned to an action. A responsible person is the individual that complete the task. You can be accountable, but your accountable will never get praise until you become responsible. Because responsible means I complete. Remember what we was talking about on the 5 morning prayer? Potential is something that I can do. But accomplishment is what I've already finished. See, some of us feel like leadership, once I've accomplished, I'm done. No, you're forever. The Bible says we're forever learning. So we're forever increasing. I remember one time Dr. Fred Price said something. I used to go to his Bible class. He said, your faith never stopped increasing. As long as it's seed time and harvest, as long as the earth remains, your faith is going to have to increase and develop. And if you don't learn how to develop your faith, you're going to always find yourself in a faithless situation. See, when you graduated 1 round of faith, God healed your body and whatnot from sickness. Now you got the faith and the believing that God can heal. So now you have the gift. The gift of healing comes in your life. Whenever a situation hits you, or whatever situation hits you, like whether it be finances, and you recover in a great way, do you know you now have the ability and the assignment and the anointing to teach other people how to recover? God, listen, whenever a task hits your life and you can be restored, or you restore yourself from the task, that's the assignment to your faith. Okay. Are you hearing me? That becomes the assignment of your faith. Now watch this. You tell your neighbor, I cannot be accountable and responsible if I'm not available. Remember, responsible simply is the individual that complete the task. How can you complete a task if you're not available?
That's true. Can't do it.
The problem that we're having here at A-Power, and I realized that we're having, I was looking at a building, I took a picture of another building because someone comes and said, hey bro, pass by this building, it's downtown, and I guess it will be northeast Atlanta, right down the street from the Little Five Point. Is that the Little Five Point? Where Sister Edwina's mom lived. That Moreland area over there, closer between 20 to 85. Look at the church is also for sale. Church is for sale. 7.5 acres of land. And I looked at it, I took pictures of the building, I looked at the building, I said, and I called him, I said, brother, it's a really nice church. I said, this church is active there. He said, it's for sale because they're losing the church. And I said, well, why are they losing the church? He said, well, when the last time I talked, blah, 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 he went on to tell me, he said, I said, well, how many members you got? He said, oh, it's a standing room only. I said, how do you lose a standing room only? He said, it's because nobody playing on the team.
Wow.
Watch this. Nobody is playing on the team. And if you don't play effective on the team, we're going to always find ourselves in a losing battle.
Right.
Now, I don't know about some of y'all, but I looked at this game that just got to play. That was the Boris Super Bowl. I was sitting there, I was on my phone, and people was going to sleep. People was going to sleep and stuff. People went outside and started shooting basketball, and they turned the music up in the garage. And I told the host, I said, well, where? He said, man, that's a boring game. It's just like something happened.
Right.
It's like, let's put them in because we already know they gonna win. And see, but a lot of times we don't be effective playing on the team and being available on the team, then it's going to become a problem. Here's the problem that we have. We got, and you know, I do know people work, people have jobs, and they go to work and whatnot. But look how many people are missing. We miss out the teaching. And then we say, well, I go back and look at it. And then when I ask them certain stuff, they don't know what was being said. So you can't tell me that you're taking time to listen to the stuff that's being taught or the vision that God is pouring into the house and whatnot. Or you say, well, I was lost about something you said. I said, well, what part did you get lost at? At this part, did you see the other parts were said? No, because well, you can't be at work and do this. Because I'll be driving and listen to the own Facebook Lives and the YouTube clips that Brother Pearl, and some things I'll be missing, and I know I'm the one talking. Right. So we're so absent, especially since we've been in this situation. The team have been so absent, discombobulated, and divided. And I say to God, where is we going to be able to go next? He said, Juan, I can't move A-Power anywhere now until the team get on board.
Oh my God.
So the movement ain't got nothing to do with I'm not looking. But we don't have enough people on board to be able to participate in that God is giving to us. So God's been dealing with me. He said, I want you to go back and teach about leadership. You can't be effective in the role of leadership if you're not accountable to the hearing of the scriptures or the lessons or the teaching that's being taught. We had a 5 o'clock prayer. And we can tell how many did not pray. And then when you get on the line, and so why was you on the line? Oh, I overslept. I was on the line, but I had to remember because I was at. But then there was other times where things were effective. When I look at these very same people, you're available in other things. And as a leader, I have to address this. How are you available over here, but you're not available over here?
Right, man.
And then he wants to move to the next place. We can't go to the next place. It's not because God don't want us there. We just can't go because, watch this, we go and we're still doing the same thing, repeated cycle. We have to break the spirit of repeating cycle. Be a cycle breaker.
Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah. Amen.
We find jobs that keep us away from church.
Come on now.
Come on. Then we so agitated and aggravated when we do come to church. We don't follow no instructions that God gives us. Come on. Even in a hard task, if we live under the title of a good steward, you can't tell me we would be constantly finding ourselves in a situation. I was praying about the vows. The $100 vows. The domains. How many have got back on it? So, it's the beginning of the month. Again, see, the stewardship is, watch this, if God wants us to get to that place. So, I had a conversation with leaders, and they said, we're going to do this, and the third. I said, okay. But we need you to fix this and don't do this. And I need you to, I said, no, that won't happen. That won't happen. I said, but I bet you I cannot beat y'all. I said, now I won't touch this account, these two accounts, but y'all still don't need me to fill them accounts. I promise you. I said, I won't touch them. And I promise y'all gonna need me to fill this account. Because the very people that we counting on won't be able to do it. You don't need me to fill the account. I said, that's handshake. No, I said, no, come on. Why? It's because it's already proven, starting to be proven. Because see, if we follow the instruction that God gave us and do what God said do, then God is accountable unto your obedience. Amen. But God cannot be accountable to disobedience when you purposely wake up to live the disobedient act that you're doing because you feel like I'm frustrated. Let me tell you something. Most time when people become disobedient because they have become frustrated about the thing that they're in. Amen. Galatians, be not weary. No, that's not what Paul said. Galatians, Paul said, you did run well, but who bewitched you? It's not always who as a person, but that scripture should say, what bewitched you? A lot of times we see stuff, and let me tell you something. Trust me, I understand. I understand seed time and harvest. I understand giving till it hurts, and it hurts, and it hurts, and you be like, okay, I ain't got no more. Because see, these titles I got, none of them came for free. These positions, these few positions I hold, none of them come for free. I remember it happening every year. First of the year, as a leader, we had to sow $1,000 plus that year's seed. And we had to do it on New Year's Eve. And that was determining we were still going to be an elder in the church. Come on. But it's called stewardship. And this is not about finances, but or telling you you should give. But here's the thing, as what you will give into what you love. And what you love, you're going to support. So, a lot of times I question, okay, but God, what's going on? What's going on? We shouldn't have continuous fight. It's some Tuesday nights that when I come in, I have to push myself. Because when I watch your faces and your body structures, because you know they taught that in school, a lot of it don't be somewhere else. And you have to sit back and say, why am I still talking to these people? Why am I still wasting my time with these people? I do. But then because I love what I do, and I love God, and I love y'all, I'm willing still to get up and do what I do. Because see, it's impossible for good teaching or good word to come forth, and there is no manifestation of what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Because before we manifest, we critique the stuff that we hear. But watch this. We don't really critique the stuff that we do that's outside the kingdom that need critiquing, that need criticizing, that need to be scrutinized. Because some of us get up and wake up and we do some stuff that I have to say, like, did you check that before you did that? Did you really take an examination on that thing that you just did? This is not an argument. I need you to wake up in the second month. We already 19 got 10 months left. We're in the second month. And I've looked at bills and looked at stuff. And God said to me, Juan, I'm not going to have you embarrassed. Amen. We're launching out the second location. And I already have half of the church now on board. What if God told him to do that? Because God had been telling me to do it. But because I did not have a people that had a heart. Let me tell you something. When I was on Banker's Walk, I thought about doing some stuff. And I sat back and I watched. I said, God, if I do that, it's going to become a burden. It's going to become a frustration. And it will bring mockery to you. I was questioning, well, is this my territory? Is this my region? I know you told me to come, but God. And the Lord keep telling me, stand still and see my salvation. Come on. And as effective leaders, we got to play the role, kingdom role. I wish I could just open me up and pour it in, but I can't do that. Because then that becomes manipulation. You see, to want to lead God's people and do the work of God, that's something, that's a passion, desire you got to have. And if you don't have it, I can't give it to you. Because see, what I had, it took me to lose a child to be where I am. It took me to be abandoned and to be broken and to be criticized and ousted out by people and friends and loved ones to say, okay, well, I don't know everything else, I might as well go to God. And when I came to him full force. And I have no desire. Why? Because I want to be accountable, I want to be responsible, and I want to be available. I want to be meat for the master's use. Available is a noun, it's a thing. We already know what a noun is, a person, place, or thing. Availability is a noun, the quality of being able to be used or obtained, the state of being otherwise unoccupied, freedom to do something, the state of not being currently involved. Some of us so involved down with stuff that and it's not kingdom stuff. It doesn't glorify God. Come on, how are we going to be effective leaders? And we're never available. And this leadership is not just talking about the elders. You can't be a secretary, you can't be an usher, you can't be a praise and worship leader, you can't be a musician, and you're not available. We have to evaluate where we are so that we can become effective. Last week I went to Griffin, and the bishop was there. And I looked around the room and I said, wow. Then I began to think about what was going on in the room. And I said, God, the reason why this is so is because the people is obeying the leader. It has nothing to do with that's their grandmama or their mama. There was new members there that met me in the parking lot. Little kids, thank you for coming to our leadership conference. Glad to hear you. Are you in the 5-4 ministry? I said, yes, I am. I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 9 years old. But see, that when I got inside and saw there was 8 of them, to this one woman, I said, well, girl, what do you get? He said, oh, she got 8 kids. All of my kids up there. But all them little boys was out there with them coats on. Watch this. It has nothing to do that I'm judging our church with somebody else's church. Don't get it twisted. That's not what I'm doing. Even when we have things to go on, it's always going to be the ones that I can count on. And that's not fair. Accountability should be across the whole room.
Amen.
Amen.
Come on. And accountability makes you also walk in a professional place. You can't tell me that you're accountable and that you are responsible and that you are available and then you don't look the part of what you're accountable to, what you're responsible to, or what you're available to. It's different for Brother Pearl to leave the camera and start playing the keyboard. He's not accountable to that. He makes sure every day, every time we come together, those videos is up. And I have to say that, commend him. He's been doing an even better job. He's growing in it. I'm looking up, they got things twirling on it, and they got name popping up in it, and I'm like, go on, Pearl. Come on. So, wait a minute. As leaders, we got to become better that way too. You can't tell us you're a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord, and then you never smile at. Come on. Because some of y'all going to be the first people meet. When you come in as a leader, you got to be ready and responsible. Watch this. Romans 14:12 says. Romans 14:12. Nikki, you get 12. James 5:16. Pastor Ryan, you get Proverbs 21:17. Come on, read.
So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. Scripture says in Romans 14:12 says, so that each of us does what? Give account. Each and every one of us got to give account. Each and every one of us. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, we both have to give account. We both have to give account. Even when we don't feel like doing it. Even when we don't feel like doing it.
Giving account
Giving an account
is mandatory
is mandatory
because we are leaders.
because we are leaders.
Now, mine says, so that each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Now, watch this. We're going to give account to ourselves to God, but we also have to give account ourselves to leadership.
Yes, sir.
If you are a leader, you have to give account to the senior leader.
Amen.
So that other people can see you being accountable and they can respect your account. Okay, you know what the problem that we had in our women department? We had a whole bunch of chiefs. Now, can I say something with you? I put her there. And everybody had a problem with what I put there. Instead of saying, let's figure out why he put her there. Wasn't trying to pull them out of us. No one in the women's department ever came to me about that. Out of all the secret conversations, it always came up with the issue. And the finger got pointed to one person. And every time I did turn the finger away from that person, folks got upset. Some of y'all walked off and had conversations. And I'd be in my office, and the vents in that women's bathroom always told on y'all. The vent in the kitchen always told on y'all. Because while y'all talking and whispering, thinking y'all whispering is coming right through the vent. And I can hear everything in that office. But if I put somebody in position, it can be two things when a leader puts somebody in position. To show you or to help you better you. Doesn't mean that the person in position is right. To show you. We had one that was in leadership. As soon as I was gone, started whipping y'all with the whipping pole. But as soon as I walk in the door, whole total conversation would change. I'll never forget, I was on my way coming from Long Beach. Kim said, you need to get here right now. I said, why? You need to see this. I purpose remained late and said, text and say, continue till I get there. The whole time I'm outside, listen to the whole entire conversation. I never removed her out of position. Because that was not to move her out of position, that was to better you. Because when you become a better leader, a better listener, you can help the leader lead. There's a lot of stuff, let me hit you with something. That's a lot of stuff that I don't like in leadership role. But I am going to be effective to the role that God called me to, any leader that I'm walking with. I may not agree with everything. And I'm not going to tell you no lie. I do not agree. And Apostle Samuel Smith understand clearly Juan F. Bellard don't agree with everything that y'all say and do. I do not. And that is known. But you said God said do it, let's do it. Because a lot of times, because I don't believe it doesn't mean it's not God.
Amen.
It doesn't mean that it's not what needs to be done. And I realize as leaders, we battle as leaders. Someone help me say, we battle as leaders.
We battle as leaders.
Because we see things that we think shouldn't be there. Notice something. Anybody that I ever work with in this church or outside that church, you're never going to get a negative response from me first. If you say we're going to do something, okay, let's do it. If it don't work, I got a problem. Because why? I'm wasting my time. But I'm going to put all of my energy into making it work. When Jeanette was here, what happened? I gave them my Zion's conference. My July Zion's conference. To have your conference. I said, come on, you want to do it? Let's do it. There were several other things that was on the table. Come on, let's do it. I had no, let's do that. I give it everything. Why? Because that's the job of a leader. When we don't agree, we still have to agree. Because if you openly don't agree in the front of everybody else, people will judge both leadership roles. That's why Proverbs says what? Let a fool argue by himself. Right. See, if me and Pastor Ryan or Pastor Murray is arguing all the time in front of y'all, right, it's going to be a problem. Y'all not going to respect nobody. Right. You're not going to respect, because that's what the enemy's job is. Right. To be well, they ain't in agreement. Even when we're in church and we're being taught, something being taught, others can tell when y'all not in agreement. And y'all don't like it. They just watch your body structure, they watch your face, they watch you, you're non-participant, they watch you go in the whole other phase and just be shaking their head. And then they put their head down and say, that's the role of leadership. This is not the old church. This is the church we got right now. To be effective, you got to be accountable. Amen. You got to be accountable, not just to God, but to the team that you're in. What the 11th verse say? Hurry up. The 11th verse says what?
For it is written,
For it is written,
as I live, said the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God.
Right. So now watch this. Any issue that we have in leadership role, we should go to God with it. I'm telling you, Sandra, I've learned to be effective in what role I'm in. I don't like a lot of stuff. I said something to a friend of mine. I said, I don't think it should go on. I said, the only reason why I'm saying it can go on because you're talking about it. Since you're talking about it, then me talking about it with you and say, I don't think. I said, but you know what? I'm going to pray. And I'm going to talk to God about this. Everybody said, well, I'm giving to leave. I'm tired. I'm not doing this no more. Okay, bye. God didn't tell me to leave. God didn't tell me to leave. He told me to go, but he didn't tell me to leave. He didn't tell me to leave. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do what the word of God told me to do. And I'm going to pray and believe God. That out of nowhere, I start seeing things change. Why? Because prayer does change. Thank you. Yes. We say it all the time. It changes things. So if things are not changing, are you really praying?
Right.
Okay, wait. We got to change this little lie that we have and when we pray. Well, what if they don't want to change? Come on, back up, rewind. Remember what I told you when Bishop, we had the women's coming in and they're not doing because my destiny was late to do it?
Right.
I went and laid my hands on the door and I said, Father, don't let him get up. And he didn't get up. And in the midst of all that he was going through, I stuck with him to the dining. Even when he went to the motel, I stuck with him to the dining. I went every day to bring him food. My mama would cook, my sisters cook, I would cook, I would go bring. My auntie was cook, I would go bring food. He threw the plate. One day he threw the whole plate at me, threw it all on my white clothes. Because he was aggravated and mad. Why? Because I know the pain of when you build something. I know the pain of when you're building something and it crumbles, that's the response. Was that my leader doing that to me? No, that was the hurting man on the inside. That everybody he poured into left him and abandoned him. So you may ask the question, well, why are you always talking about this or why he's always doing this? Because I've sat around enough leaders that have died. I've sat around enough leaders that's been broken and it wasn't because of their iniquity. I've sat around enough leaders that fall into iniquity and it was not because they was not godly men or godly women, but they was frustrated. And they was aggravated because when they were looking for the help that they needed, it wasn't there. So what they went doing, they went to vent and they vented in the laps of the Delilahs. Samson didn't really just lost his strength is because he lost it because he wanted Delilah. He already had Delilah, remember? He picked her out. He already had her. But his strength was lost is because she began to taunt him and aggravate. Stop lying to me. Tell me the truth. Where is your strength lying? And sooner or not later, we in leadership role, we respond in those ways. Because, well, why your anointing haven't came up there? Why this sickness haven't got off my body? Well, you say you're anointed for this. Well, why this has not happened? Then sooner or later you find leaders doing what Samson did unto Delilah. Putting their heads in the wrong member's lap. And sharing their hearts. Because the people that they're supposed to share their hearts to are not on the same level with them. And it's not that they can't be on the level, you just chose not to. Be available. So when the leader needs to vent, he can't vent. There's so many times Kim. That's why I will forever be grateful to Kim. And I know Ryan and Tiffany is married, but I'm going to be forever because there were some times I vented to that girl and went in and she took a lot of the blunt. Her, Phyllis, Santia, Denise, Charlene, got it. When I should have been giving it to other people in the church, I would get home and rip them to pieces. And tell them how stupid they was and shut up, don't tell me nothing. And I walk right in that church and smile and say, I don't understand. And get in the bed and feel say, I don't understand that crap. I don't understand that at all. Come on. And if I didn't have a place to vent, I probably would have made it in Los Angeles. I had a place to vent in Los Angeles, in LA, in New Orleans. And then when that died off, I had no other place to vent. God shifted me. And sometimes as a leader, God don't want you to talk when the leader is talking. True. Sometimes a leader just needs to vent and let stuff out. Don't need your opinion. Don't need your talk back. Don't need nothing to stare. Not your head. That's the best answer you can give a leader. Because if you sow your own answer into that leader, he's going and she's going to reject it. I ain't y'all. This is me. I'm telling you. If you ever find yourself in a place with me and I'm venting to you, the best thing is just nod your head. And then go to God and pray. Because a lot of times if you give me an answer, I'm probably going to reject it. And won't even pay attention to it until after God, I start praying about it. And God said, do thus and so. Because I'm accountable to God. I will go to him. God, I don't like this. God wants great. We need to give expansion. Help me say it.
We need to give expansion.
Expansion. We got to expand. We get to Isaiah real quick and we close this out. James 5:16 says what?
Confess your faults one to another.
All right, stop. If you're not in position, if you're not available, how can Mother Gautier confess to you? If you are not available, how can Mother Gautier confess to you? All right? Well, if Mother Gautier not available, how else somebody going to confess to her? James 5:16 says what?
Confess your
Let's
faults.
go to James 5:15.
And the prayer of faith shall save the sick.
Come on. Listen, some leaders are very sick in their mental thinking because they're under scrutiny, they're under chastisement of the enemy. Do you know there's nothing that a leader really do and he think he done well? I don't know about y'all, I'm putting myself out there. I don't know about y'all. But it's nothing that I do that I think I've done well. And I thank Pearl. Pearl put them videos up and I go back and I beat myself up. I beat myself up and say, wow, I should have did that. You look stupid. I'm my biggest critic. I beat myself up. And I never forget, I said something to a leader. He said, bro, you ain't the only one. He said, man, I got 300, 400 something members in my church. And every Sunday when I look at that, I don't feel like I have did my best. Most leaders will tell you, I just don't feel like I completed that task right. That task that was given to me, I don't feel like I did it right. Why? Because we're always trying to make God pleased with what we do. And we just say, well, was that really pleasing to you, God? So the prayers of the righteous does what?
Availeth much.
What did that scripture say?
The prayers of faith shall save the
Thank
sick.
you. The prayers of faith will save the what?
Sick.
The sick, not just in infirmities, but in the mind. Do you know a lot of things that happen in infirmities, wise in our body starts in the mind?
Yes, it does.
It starts by the associations.
Yes.
It's talking about, you remember I used to say all the time, association brings about what?
Contamination.
A contamination and a simulation. I used to say that too, mother. So if you associate around sick people all the time, then you're going to become sick. And you'll be thinking like them.
Right.
Come on. If you associate with too many people, you become contaminated.
Right.
Right. But the prayer of faith does what? Heal the sick.
Amen.
Come on. Not just the sick bodies, but the sick minds.
Yes.
Do you know if I can heal some of our minds in this room, if Pastor Murray get up and minister, Bishop Bellard get up and minister, and Pastor Tracy get up and minister, and just get the minds right? Do you know we see the real currents every Sunday?
Amen.
The real currents every Sunday, regardless of how many times the glory of the Lord come in, we're going to see the real currents. We went to this conference and so many people tell me, man, that conference was the bomb. Man, and I said, it really was it? It really, oh my God, thank you. And me and my sister was sitting there talking, and I went in the room, I said, girl, what you doing? Nothing. And she, Phyllis and Bush was going to me, sister just sitting there chatting, and she said, you did awesome, bro. This is phenomenal. Let me know ahead of time at the next one, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, we do the try to do that in January, blah, blah, blah. She said, look, bro, this is a winter vacation for me. And when she's giving me all this accolades, I'm just looking at her, she said, what's wrong? I said, I just don't feel it. It was good enough. Why? Because inside of me, what I saw, it was not what I portrayed. It didn't really come to pass. Why? Because there were some glitches. And you can't always depend. And God made it that way that Pastor Murray would be such place. Why? Because it was time for the praise team to stand up and be able to do what they needed to do. What happened? What happened? And it had nothing to do with what I'm used to. Because you got to always remember, as a leader, you got to have a kingdom role. And that role got to be there and be sufficient in that role. And I'm not talking about, listen, anybody that knows me, I don't want the best singer to be singing. I just want you to be anointed. Nikki killed it. Minister Nikki, when I walked in Thursday for prayer, she had to slam dunk.
She did. Amen. She did.
Minister Mike slam dunk.
He did, yes.
See, that oil was on them right there.
Right.
See, so for leadership, got to understand your oil and where your flow is. Are you hearing me? And if that's not in your flow, then you have to excuse yourself from it. Don't participate because it's needed. Because I'd rather have sing by myself than have to keep turning around and saying, and it's sad that you have to keep turning around and saying, what you doing? Because now I got to do your job and my job. And when it got time, who was hoarse? Me. Who body was aching? Me. Why? Because there was no balance. And God did it that way. God did it that way. So to show us, we got to better ourselves. And we got to come to the front. And be more responsible for the oil that's on our lives. All hands down. Minister Nika, drove up, and the walls was coming down. She was crumbling the walls.
You were doing it.
I mean, the next day when I came in, Mike was crumbling the wall. They were like the battle rams up there.
Right.
Nothing is wrong with that. I needed that. That was needed. But we got time for the flowing and to the worshipers to worship. We are worshipers. We call a place of worship. We know how to do it. We struggle. Why? Because everybody, well, okay, I'm going to get up there now. Some could have been, well, you don't use me before, so now you need me. And if that's what you thought, let me help you. You weren't wrong. But now that you are being used, you're not just being used by me, you're being used by God. You're representing the kingdom. It's called ambassadors. And if you don't operate as an ambassador in God, it will always malfunction your role as a leader. You can't be pleased and happy with the little that you're doing and it's not bringing God glory. So God fixed it so he wouldn't be there. To show, not me. I already know what y'all can do, what you can't do. I already know where you don't need to be at and where you need to be at. But to show you that if things happen and things is pushed out the way, what if that I was there and couldn't talk?
Right.
What would have been the representation, Elder Deborah? Come on, what would have been the representation? Come on. We got to get it together. Because if the enemy had afflicted me and I couldn't talk, then who else would have done it?
You're right.
The only two next person was Nikki and Elder Deborah. But at the end of the day, we got to work together as a team.
Amen. Amen.
Come on. It wasn't fair. Because we've been knowing about this since October. And Sister Tiffany was the only one ushering. Greeting at the door. We've been knowing about this. And you already know ain't nobody going to do it but us. So you should not be flaking out because you already know it's only going to be us getting it done. And guess what? God's looking at how we do it and the heart in which we do it in. So 14 and 11 says, well, the prayer of the faith they what? 14 and James 5 and 15.
And the prayer of faith shall save the sick,
Uh-huh.
and the Lord shall raise them up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him.
How does that scripture have to do with leadership? Because you cannot be effective leader with iniquity in you or elements.
Right. Okay. That's true.
You can't be effective with elements in you.
That's right.
Then 16 says what to be what?
Confess your faults one to another.
Let's watch this. Look at your neighbor and say, I gotta be accountable
Gotta be accountable.
through confession.
Through confession.
Watch this, because when you confess that you're weak in the area, your sister should be able to say, Sister Tiffany, hold up, baby. I know you're weak, but hold your pose. Hold your pose. I got you right here. And it should be able to, because that's what they do on the basketball court. They see which one, who's the pointers. Right? Is that what they call them? Y'all call them? The point guards?
Point guard, yes.
That's the one that throw in the ball?
Yeah, they passed the ball.
They pass the ball. Okay. What they call y'all? The throwers? Who throws the ball? Everybody throws the ball, right? Everybody can shoot. Who's the shooter?
Guard, the forwards, and the center.
Okay, but you know, my point I'm trying to say is, on the team, you know who's the shooters.
Yes.
You know who can shoot without being fouled. You know who's good at defense.
Yes.
You know who's not good at defense.
Yes, sir.
You know, keep him under the goal. Let him be out here doing what he's doing. Because see, this one over here, he can shoot. If you get the ball to him, he's going to aim. See, as the same way when we confess it. Okay, Sister Tiffany may say, I'm a little tired of my body. So then Sister Sandra should say, I got you, chick. I might be on the other side of the room, but I got you. Sister Marquisha should be able to say, I got you. Come on. As leaders, we got to be inviting. We got to have confession with each other and be able to trust. Remember we said my team, trusting everyone that's around me. If you can't trust everyone around you, you don't need to be a part of the body of Christ.
Amen.
Come on, y'all.
Amen.
If you can't trust who around you, you can't be a part of the body of Christ.
Amen.
And you can't be a part of this world. You have to get you a grave and dig yourself and get in there and wait to the rapture. Because you're going to have to trust whoever's around you if you're going to be in a movement.
Right.
Martin Luther King did what they did, and then all those people did not get along, but they shook America.
Amen.
Yes.
We just got to look at the Panthers. Them people risked their lives.
Right.
This is the only movement that don't nobody want to risk their lives.
Wow.
But if you're going to save a people and a culture, you're going to have to be willing to give up your life.
Amen.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Come on. With all the stuff that's done came out. Today is 106. Rosa Parks made 106 years old. It should have been alive today. She decided I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus no more. So that we get in the front row.
Right.
And when we come in places, we don't want to sit to the back now, including me.
Okay. We do.
We got front row seats now. We got VIP seats now, but we don't want them. And some of them sacrifice so we can have them. Watch this. Proverbs 21:17 says what?
The King James Version, it says,
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. 18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright.
Is that 27 and 17?
Oh, you said 27. I thought you said 21 and 17.
I did. I'm sorry. It's 27 and 17.
Okay.
I'm sorry. 27 and 17 says, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens the face of his neighbor. His own, come on, you got it?
Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored.
Iron sharpens iron. I need every tool Sister Nikki has, Sister Phyllis has. Every one of you all in here is needed. But you can't be dependent on if I'm frustrated by you. If a leader becomes frustrated by you, he's not going to depend on you.
that's true. Amen.
And he will withdraw himself from talking to you.
No assignments given.
And then what happens is now assignment become outdated. Come on. So we have to stop being so contrary one to the then when the leader is frustrated by your action, then you become frustrated by his responses. So you no longer listen to nothing that he's saying, and he's no longer listening to nothing you're saying. And we've been there for a minute. We've been at this place for a minute. Frustrated with each other. I don't like your response. I don't like how you respond. I don't like the certain things you be doing. And then now you start getting frustrated with me because you don't like my replies. So for every action, that's a what?
Reaction.
Corresponding reaction.
Okay. So if there is a reaction to every, that's a consequence for every every action you do, there's going to always be a reaction. That's it. A cause and effect. So if you know this, with y'all smart selves, why are we not responding properly one to another? Know our place. Get in our place. Okay, well, why are you talking about what the scripture says? Walk worthy in the vocation and wherewith you've been called. If you're called as an usher, don't be up here trying to do praise and worship.
Right.
If you've been called as a minister, don't try to tell me how to preach. Because you and God ain't spending time like me and God spending time. I would never argue with a preacher about what he said God said.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be like, okay, if you say God said, well, you're going to have to prove that. That sure don't look right. But however, even in services, you'll never see my face change with leaders, especially my leaders. Because I don't want nobody ever see me and us not in agreement. That sometimes sis will say, hey, bro, did I do? And then, or I'll call her and say, hey sis, what I need to be rebuked about. Child, I ain't rebuke the apostle. No, you do. If that's your church, if there was something that wasn't done right, you have the ability to do that. Isaiah 6 and 8. All right. The accountable scriptures was Romans 14 and 12, James 5 and 16, Proverbs 27 and 17. That's for the accountable scriptures. But for the available scriptures, Isaiah 6 and 8 says, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Wait a minute. This ain't for me or you by yourself. You got to go for us. It's a call for all of us together. Come on, Isaiah 6 and 8 says, who shall I send?
And who will go for us?
And who will go for us? Then say I, here am I. God? How many of y'all told God you was available for Shalom? How many of y'all told God you was available for the kingdom?
Amen.
But we're not properly available. Because the availability makes you be good stewards. So that you can be available. You cannot be available and not a good steward.
Amen.
You can't be available when he calls you and you're not a good steward.
Right.
Now I celebrate. I watched Sister Ebony and Sister Edwina and Mother Clotilde came and she brought Papa with them and whatnot. And those are signs of availability. You know, it takes longer to drive back because you got to make sure he's taken care of. The other sergeant came with the sickness that she had. Come on.
Amen.
But we have some that didn't have no sickness, had no problems. Sister Tiffany and Pastor Ryan made sure that they had their tickets for Arizona.
Amen.
Those tickets was paid for. We knew about this in October. And we got to the deadline. Rejoice. Because you're going to Jacksonville, you can drive there. How many of y'all left early? No, how many left the church nightly early? God bless you. Because of what? Stuff that you in good stewardship over. And you can't be an effective leader if you're failing at being in stewardship in your finances and stuff that's going to make you become available. We got a conference coming up. It's coming up next month. I'm already putting stuff together. We got to make sure printing and stuff. People are not going to do it. Because you know why people are not going to help Shalom? Because I don't have anything to offer them. And I get it. I get it. Ain't nobody joining Shalom and nobody joining their power until they see something to offer. And I get it. So what my job is to do, make sure that I stay available so that when God put me to the place for the people that's anointed for my voice, that their ears are called for me, I'll be available, equipped, and not stressed for those people. This year, I vow to myself to love you where you are. But I'll make sure I'm available for the Master's use. And in 2019, if you want to have expansion in your life, you got to make sure that you're available for God. If God say go left, you got to make sure that I'm available to go left. And I have the ability and resources to go left when he said go left. Because you never know what's waiting for you. It can be a fish with the money in the mouth. You ain't saying nothing. It could be a dope dealer that's stranded, that needs help. Young man moved in from from Ohio. I picked him up this morning and he go drive his little boy to work every morning, drop him off. And he pays $20. Round trip. Round trip. He spent $100 a week. His rent is $1,240. His light bill is $900. He live on Bellard apartments over there on Washington Road. Just start talking in the back seat saying, man, God, he didn't say, man, he said, bro, it's just been so hard for me. I said, bro, where you going to go to work too? I said, because you only got one job. He said, no, go over there and I was going to ask you if you could take me back home. And man, I'm broke. I was just going to have to walk back. He was dropping his kid off over there at Morehouse College, behind them apartments, and he lived on Washington Road. He said I was going to walk back. He said, I need the money this afternoon to pick my son up. I said, you save that money. I'll drop you off home. I said, what I'll do is, I'll pick him up every morning and drop him to school. And you beat him back from school. Watch this. No, because as a leader, I cannot be available. And watch this. He don't know my pastor. He don't know my preacher. He just knows that I'm a brother. And he just started talking. And when he said that, I said, as soon as he got through, no prayer for me. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. Because I am available. I can stop a ride or not get a ride because that baby need to go to school for 8 o'clock in the morning. And if he never joined this church, he got a good deed from a kingdom believer. That's availability. And that's being good stewardship. And God, guess what? God will bless my rides thereafter to meet the needs. And I told him, I said, bro, I don't care how long your car is broke. I mean, literally, the car is parked in his house on fire, burnt up. He showed me right on the 285, getting off the Washington Road, coming from Camp Quickway. He said, bro, me and my son was coming in from work. My son slept in the car. I got to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, because Mama and I, they from Ohio, blah, 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 blah. He said, bro, you just going in the store. I said, man, in the car 3 o'clock in the morning? He said, yeah, bro. He said, I had nobody watching. So he said, I went to the warehouse at work. I kept Texting my phone from the girl phone and said, son, you okay? Yeah, daddy. Somebody came with a flashlight and I got the back seat, got on the floor. That's surviving.
Yeah.
That's surviving. And the first thing came to my heart, Tiffany, was, man, if I had a daycare, or we had a situation where, knowing we can't help everybody, but that was just a leader inside of me. Right? So I said, well, bro, I said, I got you. We're going to pray and believe God for you. You know, he said, man, that's what I've been doing. I'm going to tell me to hold my hand up. She want me to move back to Ohio. He said, but I'm going to prison. I'm going back to Ohio. So I need to stay here. He said, bro, you think I'm lying? He went in the house. He said, when I dropped off, he said, bro, he said, watch this. Came back, light bills, $900. Because there's no insulation in those apartments. Turned the heater on, and heat and air just going out. When it rained, on mildew, he got pictures of his phone where on the patio just flooding up, water coming into his apartment. He said, but me and my boy stayed there. He said, now the car broke down, I gotta walk to work. My neighbor was willing to keep him until I get back. I walked back from work and I paid to get him. Because I don't want my boy to see me walking into school. And I felt his heart. I said, bro, I'm gonna pick him up every morning. Just have him ready. I said, what's the earliest he can be to school? He said he can be there by 7:45. I said, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to pick your son up. And you can trust me to pick your son up. I said, if you can't trust me, you will go, drop your son off, and I'll bring you back. And the charge is on me. You just have to get it back in the afternoon. I said, but if there's a burden, call me. I will stop doing what I'm doing, get him in the afternoon, and bring him back to you. Because as a leader, you got to be available, accountable, and responsible. In all aspects. Because you cannot be a believer and you're just accountable to inside the church. Because your witness is not inside the church. Your real witness is outside. We enter to worship, but we exit to serve.
Yes, sir.
I got some. I got Jehovah's Witness mother. Let's see where Pastor Murray and Jeremy was living at, in the senior citizen. She said, I need somebody to bring me to the grocery store. She said, my daughter always be around and I'm on the income. Mama, don't worry about it. I cancel her ride. Went to the store with her, sat in there to catch all the stuff on the rack, and brought it back. She called me today. She said, give me a cash app. My daughter wanted to sow a seed. She had Jehovah's Witness. They cash app me, so we see a $25. Say thank you. You'll never know where your harvest is going to come from. You'll never know where the growth of the church comes from if we don't exemplify our roles as being accountable, available, and responsible. Amen. John 14:15 says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Yeah. If you're accountable to God, and when you are a leader and you love God, let me tell you something. There is nothing in the role of leadership that I did not make myself available for. If Bishop Ned, Mama Green, Gloria Bridges, well, some of y'all saw about Ronnie Evans. She told y'all, stood up in the church, she said, I'm proud of you, son.
Yes, she did.
She said, because you stood on the wall and I never let you preach. But here you in Los Angeles building a church. Established and strengthened. And when I opened up the church in New Orleans, she never came. Never came. I sold tithes, offering, $1,000. Income tax came. She said, the Lord told me to tell you give your whole income tax. To through me and two other brothers. We got the income tax check that was big time, sold it. And when she got to LA, she told me, she said, the church, the property across the street, I want to thank you and the other two young men, because y'all gave me the money to buy. By the time I gave it up to her, she didn't say nothing to her, but okay, no prophecy, no word, no nothing. So okay, Lord. But God was showing me then, as a leader, you got to always be accountable and available. My son was dying. I don't like to use his story. Because sometimes I think when people hear my story, they don't believe it anyway. Yeah. But it's cool. It was nice. You wasn't there to know it. It's cool. You know, I just believe whatever you tell me. You tell me what you went through. Okay, you got it. I wasn't there. I don't know. But I never allowed him to make me miss my assignment in the kingdom. Because I realized if I had obeyed my leader, I would have that. Some of the stuff that's making y'all miss your kingdom assignment, if you had obeyed the leaders, you wouldn't be in this place. I get it. I'm going to get it. The mom would have been 32 years old if I didn't get it right. Because I did it wrong. He didn't want it to teach 13. Consequences. And I try to teach and show y'all, when God called you in a leadership role, some of this stuff that you create plays a consequence. And those consequences come in your life and it causes and affects your leadership role to be in leadership. So many times I had to swallow my tears. And pastor would say, come on and pray. Didn't feel like doing it. We had 5 a.m. prayer. I was there. We got 5 a.m. prayer, 5:30 prayer on the phone. Some of them get up. Some of y'all wouldn't get up. You pray out laying in your bed. Got them come 3 buses to church. Freezing cold, ice was taken off the roof. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm telling you why I am adamant as us being as leaders. I heard one of my ministers say to me, I hear what you say, but you shouldn't say that to impose, to make us lead. If we don't want to lead or be good leaders, then you should leave us alone. That's the most dangerous thing. Because the moment I leave you alone is the moment the enemy had his best way with you.
That's true.
So as a coach, my job is to push. And they didn't say it as a disrespectful way. They said it out of concern. So when I brought the story, I said, what happens with a coach? His job is to push you and get you to your place. Because there's a potential land on the inside of you.
Right.
Let me close that. Look, 14, remember John 14 and 15 said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Why would Jesus say that, if you love me? Huh?
Sure.
Come on. I don't want to have to say, if you're a leader, you should supposed to be doing this and so. You are a leader. You're a leader in some aspect of your life, and you should be able to walk in that role of leadership. If you never watched it, if you never had a father, no, listen to me. I don't care if you never had a father to teach you how to be a father. You can still become the best father.
Amen.
That's right.
If you never had a mama, you can still become the best mother.
Amen.
If you don't know what a wife is, because your mama was never a wife or whatever the etc. are, you can still be an effective wife.
Amen. Amen. That's true.
Because everything that you in the scripture said, I told you y'all in the prayer. The scripture says, he says, I give you all things pertaining life and godliness. It's inside of you. Now unto you is now unto him that's able to do father, to do mother, to do a wife, to do a husband, to do a leader. Now unto him that's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that he think or acts. According to what? The ability to process what's inside of you.
Amen.
If your daddy was never there, pick up a book, read a book, find another daddy and look at him from afar.
Amen.
Find a man in the church and look at him from afar.
Amen.
Come on. Some of you got daddies, had daddies, and some of us had daddies that weren't drug dealers, but we became drug dealers. Because why? We watched somebody from afar. Yeah, influence. So the ability to be who you are is active in you. Open your mouth and say that I can be effectively.
I can be an effective leader.
Why?
Why?
Because it's in me.
Because it's in me.
Watch this. Watch this. When you become available to God, God has his plan to be ready. God has a plan to be ready to take you to the place that you are not qualified for. But you got to be available to God. You heard it?
Yes, sir.
When you become available to God, God has his plan to be ready to take you to a place that you was not qualified for. I am not qualified for a lot of places, but I go there because guess what? I'm available.
Amen.
And when you become available, God can take you there.
Amen. Amen.
Look at David in the field, attending to his father's sheep. What does sheep represent? Money, business, and inheritance, livelihood. Unbeknown to David, he is about to be elevated to a kingdom assignment. Why? Because he knew how to be available for the kingdom and not for the moment.
Okay.
God look at what role you're playing in right now. Whatever role you're playing in right now determines your promotion.
Amen.
The Bible says the promotion doesn't come from the north, south, east, and west, but it comes from where?
Lord.
God takes some of it and puts some down. God, some of you can be a replacer to other people. But God needs you not to be a leadership in the moment. He needs you to be a leader with a lifetime.
Amen.
For a lifetime.
Amen.
You got to be available, to be available for the kingdom. Not be just available for a moment. The moment, okay, Pastor Murray's not there, Pastor Warren's not there, so let me just be available for the day. No, what about when we are here? What about when I am here? You still available. There is a word inside. How many times did I ask in the prayer, is there a word from the Lord?
You did, right? Amen.
That bothered me. I'm not going to tell you all no lie. That bothered me. I just look at the floor like, okay, God. Got in the car, went to work. Why? It's because if we're in prayer and we're talking and fasting and praying out to God, God should have said something to somebody else. And here is what my scrutiny was. Maybe I didn't intimidate them. Maybe they feel like what they're going to say, I'm not going to respond to it. Here was my answer to myself. If it was God, whether I respond or not. If I'm in a consecration, God will give me my don't respond. Well, we done it before and you didn't respond. Well, clearly, maybe because I did something to you too and you didn't respond correctly the way you need to respond. Come on. Come on. And it's not a tick for tat. But you cannot respond and then want a response when you never responded. Come on. We just got to ask the question several times. When you become available to God, God has a plan to make you plans to be ready to take you to places that you would not qualify. Look at David. David, he wasn't, don't be available for the kingdom and not for the moments. Or for your moments. The moments I feel like I can do this. No. That's every area you are needed. Y'all are needed in every area because we're a small ministry. So every area we got to occupy. All of us got to occupy. Come on. I remember in Los Angeles, the whole choir was a church at one time.
Yes, sir.
The whole entire choir was a church.
That's right.
People invited us because they know they invite the choir and the whole church was going to come.
Right.
Come on, the whole choir was the church. And they called it because it was givers.
Right.
And we knew how to change the atmosphere. They didn't want our message. They didn't want the teaching. They just wanted us to change the atmosphere so somebody could spew out garbage. We went to the big auditorium downtown Los Angeles. Yeah. Everybody got mad with us. Why y'all not shouting? Child, we heard that 2 years ago. And y'all just heard that today. Y'all don't want us to scream and holler? Come on. God has shown us time and time that it's in us to do the good will of God. It is in us. Look at Daniel's, write this down, Daniel 7 and 25. Let me finish reading it. Look, not for the moments. Your ability isn't just for your future, but it's for God's plan. I need everybody to understand that your availability, I'm tell you them say your availability isn't just for you and your future, but for God's plan. Now ask your neighbor, say, what happens if what you have in your future is not in God's plan? Now ask him, how much time did you lose? Listen, I have to answer myself. Because when we got Friday, so we couldn't get to this part. But I'm going to leave it alone. We couldn't get to this part. Because the power of God came in and we just started weeping and wailing. We couldn't get to this part. But this is the part that God asked me a question. I said, what God? He said, how much of stuff that you did that you thought was your future, but was not even in my plan? I said, God, a lot of things. He said, it wasn't even in my plan. So you wasted time on something that I didn't plan for you. Because Jeremiah 29 and 11 says, I know the thoughts I think towards you, or the plans I set for you. And how many of us, not all, but how many of us have not really sought God's face for what his future is for us? Can I say something to every one of us in this room, including me?
Yes, sir.
It's something that Lawrence Ned told me many years ago, and I'm going to give it to y'all whether you like it or not. He said, son, I said, what? Yes, sir. He said, sometime in life you want something so bad, and you'll go after it, but it was never the plan of God. And then you wind up wasting time that you can never get back and give back to God because you did not inquire God, is this for me? Now, there's some things that some of y'all are doing as a God thing. And I'm never going to tell you not to do what was in your heart to do it. I'm not saying being available for God, also make yourself become available for you. Watch this. You can't sow availability to God and God don't sow availability back to you. You can't sow responsibility to God and God don't sow responsibility to your future. Okay, you don't believe me? I'm going to give you a scripture while you're looking at the book on your face. I'm going to give you this. If you delight yourself in the Lord, he said, I will give you the desires of your heart. In other words, when you become available and accountable and responsible to me, I in turn become available, responsible, and accountable to the thing that you want for your life. I didn't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I wanted to do. But I'm so grateful that God called me to it.
Amen.
And he chose a vessel such as me.
Thank God.
Watch this. Watch this. Daniel says in 7:25, Satan shall speak pompous words against the Most High, and shall persecute the saints of God, and shall intend to change the times and the laws of God. We got to be very careful in our role of leadership. I need somebody to catch this right here. And I'm going to close on this last. I'm not going to go to the next page. Daniel 7:25 says, Satan shall speak pompous words against the Most High. Shall persecute the saints of God, and shall intend to change the times and the laws of God. I was talking to a pastor a week ago. He saw the stuff from the conference, and him and I was talking. He said, "Bro, I liked what you was doing." Once again, I got that more like, "Really? You did?" Watch this. I said to him, I said, "Brother," I said, "we don't be careful in this day and time, we would have been messed up. Because the job of the enemy is to come and shift everything that God planned and purposed for us out." Daniel 7:25 says what?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until the time and times and the dividing of time.
Watch this. His job is to change everything. And if you don't be careful and sensitive and accountable and available and responsible to God, he's going to change you. And he's going to make you change things in the church. Oh, y'all don't believe me? Men with men. Because ain't nobody being accountable. Ain't nobody being responsible. Ain't nobody being available. We're laying up same-sex marriages now in the church. We're laying up with explosions of leadership in the church. Because ain't nobody being accountable to God. Ain't nobody being available to God. Ain't nobody being responsible. And every leader has struggled with that at one point in time or another. Y'all, we got to be leaders. If nobody else want to be right and nobody want to do the way God said do it, we have to do it. I'm not in no compromising place. I don't care what you don't like. You don't like it, it's your business. I know this ain't Bible, and I know God didn't tell me to do that, and I'm not about to do that. And I'm not going to make you make me do that because, see, remember the prophet in King, I think it was in 1 King, the God told the prophet to do what? He said, go in the city and warn the people of the errors of their ways. Then the prophet went and told them, he went and said, God going to mess up the stuff y'all plans. He on his way back, God told him, don't even go to nobody's house, don't eat nothing. What happened? Another prophet come along and said, I am a prophet of the Lord too. Isn't that look like the church? That look like the church right now. God will give you instructions, and somebody else will come along and say, well, yeah, the Lord told me to tell you to do this. You know when I got the revelation of that scripture, Tiffany? You know when I read that scripture for myself and began to read it, I came to conviction saying, you can say whatever you want to say God told you. Until God tell me he told you, what you say is just in the air.
Right.
Because my brother got whipped several times already. Because I didn't do it. Like on Baker's Walk. There's some stuff on Baker's Walk that God told me not to let go on in that church. And I let it went on. That's okay, you want to act like Moses, don't you? And here's the problem that goes on. Here's the problem. We lost a lot of people. And I'm going to take the blame because some of y'all won't be responsible. Some of y'all won't be responsible. Some of y'all won't be responsible, so I'm going to take the blame. But I'll never forget one of the individuals that left and said words to me. If them people will let you pastor that church and quit trying to pastor behind your back, you will be your church will be better. And I looked at her and said, God bless you. She only confirmed what God told me. He says, too many trying to tell you what to do and they ain't spending time with me. And they spend enough time to talk, they ain't got enough time to serve. Because see, when you spend quality time with God, you don't be busy talking, saying God said, God said. You put what God do, the time you and God spend together into action, and stuff start manifesting. God told me to tell you to do this. Several. God didn't tell me that. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that. Place of worship has always been a church. God has always given me a ministry of reconciliation for people. when we had that situation with the bishop, we had some that were turning on him left and right. So I got to the say, okay, God. And I found myself acting towards him in a way. And God got me. He said, you should have never done that. Because here's the lie. And then the lie came out. A lot of stuff. I don't take the blame for a lot of stuff. Because I know my reaction. But there's a lot of reaction that was done that was not from this pulpit. And that's not from many pulpits. It's from the pews. And a lot of people do not take accountability. And why? Because Satan is trying to wear us out. And he uses those of us that are connected to wear each other out. He used the words that we speak. That's supposed to be our law of good. That should produce the desired results because it's operated on by power greater than I am. But we use that to defeat. And here, let me tell you something with y'all. We do it in conversation in our own head. And then those of us that are spiritual walk into your arena and we sense your... Because here's the thing with some of y'all. Y'all know how to think, but y'all don't know how to seal your thoughts. And then when we get in the presence of me, I'll just look at you. And I oftentimes ask God, why you gave me that gift? He said, every leader has that gift. Because you got to know what's in the midst of you. I said, well, God, can you give this gift to them? He said, it will become damageable if I do. It will become witchcraft. Because enough sacrifices hasn't been made to receive. So I said in church, I said, well, God, we got to get this place, we got to get here. He said, when will the church get to the place to receive what I want to drop into their lap? Can we right now, examine yourself, can we right now handle if God drops a building or a television show or an airplane or apartment complex, can we really handle it in our hands? I'm not talking about your finances. Will you be available to handle what it is that God is calling for us to do? Because Daniel 7:25 is still active in our lives. He wants to destroy us by using us. The worst pain is not when your mama hurt you, it's when you hurt your own self. Because you don't know how to say ouch to that. The pain is not when I hurt you or you hurt me, it's when I mess up. I have to go back and say, God, you know, that was mine. I can't even say ouch on that one. I can't even throw that blame on somebody. Then I looked at Genesis 3:15. It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, Satan, and thou shalt bruise his heel, the seed. We are called to bruise the enemy's head. But if you're not available to bruise his head, he's going about seeking whom he may devour. I asked God in Jackson, I said, why you want to use this scripture? He said, Juan, if you're not available to bruise his head, to slow him down, then he go in full force and attack whoever he sees in the front of him. I am called to destroy the serpent. This is what God told me to write down. I am called to destroy the serpent by being accountable and responsible. My accountability make me anointed to stand, to tell, to control, to build, to establish what God called me to establish. He made my enemy, but he made me the authoritative one over my enemy. Look what he told me to say. He said, tell them, don't mind the bite on the heel. That won't kill you. It's the bite in the heart that will. If we walking through the field and we get bit on the heel, you can survive. You didn't have to cut your foot off. But when that bite comes in the jugular vein, that bite comes closer to the hearts, it gets you instantly. I said, okay, God. So then I want to encourage y'all tonight. Don't allow the thing that you have authority over to get away with biting you. If he bite your job, you'll know to stomp him out. But if you're not available when he bite me, you can't stomp him out. If I'm not available when he bites you, I can't correct you. In the military forces, they send us in as a group. What do they call it? Your platoon? Your platoon. Platoon is not one person. It's a multiple of us. And we all have an assignment in that platoon. And sometimes the whole platoon can die and one person survive. Paul Bellard said it very well. He said, I buried myself on all my dead men in the Vietnam. Because they didn't listen. I said, what you mean they didn't listen? He said, a young baby was coming to us with a bomb on it. they went to go and get it. He said, I had to shoot my own man to stop him. So when he got out the way, I killed the baby. It blowed up out of the distance from us and not in us. Because if he did, it would have messed up the whole platoon. He said, I ran out, got my man, and put him on my shoulders. And I went back to the hole where we was. And we continued to shoot till they bombed us into the place. I buried myself with the dead men. Till I heard the helicopters come. Little boy was telling me, I said, well, what happened? What was you heard? You in the helicopter? He said, they came to clean up. The cleanup crew of the Vietnam came. He said, and that's when I came from under the dead bodies. And to realize as I was coming up from the dead body, there was some that I thought was dead, was still alive. They was doing what I was doing.
Right.
Come on. Even though you've been attacked, we can survive.
Amen.
And we can recover. I decree and declare that to you today. You can recover. Let's get yourself together. Open your mouth and say, I got to get myself together. I have to be accountable. I got to be responsible. And I got to be available. You got to.